Space exploration has always been a beacon of human ambition, promising discovery, adventure, and a deeper understanding of our universe. But beneath this veil of excitement lies an uncharted abyss filled with peril and uncertainty. Space, as beautiful as it is, can also be a realm of unimaginable horror. Astronauts, trained to remain calm in the face of adversity, have experienced moments of fear and isolation that would break even the strongest of us. From mysterious sounds and inexplicable sightings to heartbreaking last words, these experiences remind us of the fragile line between survival and catastrophe. Today, we delve into the top 10 most terrifying things astronauts have ever said in space, words that echo the dangers lurking in the void beyond Earth. The vast emptiness of space might be silent, but not for Chinese astronaut Yang Liwei. In 2003, as China's first astronaut to orbit Earth, he reported a chilling and inexplicable phenomenon, a knocking sound coming from outside his spacecraft. Imagine being alone, miles above the Earth, surrounded by the infinite void, only to hear a sound as if someone, or something, were banging on the hull with a hammer. Yang described it as if a force was trying to get in. The sound was intermittent, and despite his attempts to locate its source, no explanation emerged. He likened it to the striking of a metal bucket, a sound that was both familiar and alien. What makes this more unsettling is that Yang wasn't alone in this experience. Other astronauts have reported similar phenomena. While scientists speculate that the sounds might be caused by temperature-induced expansion and contraction of the spacecraft's materials, the lack of concrete evidence leaves the door open to more eerie possibilities. Could this be a sign of an unknown presence in the cosmos? The mystery remains unsolved, haunting the minds of those who dare venture into space. In the late 1950s, two Italian brothers, Achille and Giovanni Giudica Cordiglia, stumbled upon one of the most chilling discoveries in space history. Operating a makeshift listening station from an old German bunker, the brothers claimed to intercept distress signals from Soviet cosmonauts. These signals, filled with fear and desperation, painted a grim picture of missions gone terribly wrong. One recording, reportedly from 1961, captured a female voice pleading for help as her spacecraft spiraled out of control. Her haunting words, "Conditions are worsening. Why don't you answer? We're going slower," were followed by silence, a silence that likely marked her final moments. The Soviets, during the Cold War, were notoriously secretive, especially about spaceflight failures. This secrecy has left many to wonder about the true fate of these lost cosmonauts. Were these distress calls genuine cries for help? Or could they have been fabrications? To this day, the recordings remain a chilling mystery, a reminder of the sacrifices and risks hidden behind the glory of space exploration. One of the most tragic moments in space history is the story of Vladimir Komarov, the Soviet cosmonaut aboard Soyuz 1. In 1967, Komarov embarked on a mission that he and others knew was doomed. The spacecraft was riddled with flaws, yet political pressure forced the mission to proceed. As Soyuz 1 re-entered Earth's atmosphere, its parachutes failed to deploy. Hurtling toward Earth at fatal speeds, Komarov's final moments were filled with anguish. His last words, picked up by American monitoring stations, were a mix of anger and despair. "The heat in my capsule is rising. You've killed me." Komarov's tragic death was a harsh lesson for the Soviet space program, highlighting the dangers of rushing missions without proper preparation. His story is not just one of personal bravery but also of the systemic failures that turned a hero's journey into a catastrophic loss. While Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin made history with their steps on the moon, Michael Collins faced a different challenge. Alone in the command module, orbiting the moon, Collins was isolated in a way few humans have ever experienced. For hours, he had no communication with Earth or his fellow astronauts, a silence that was both peaceful and unnerving. Collins later admitted to a haunting thought that crossed his mind during this isolation: "I hope we make it back." The simplicity of these words belied the immense pressure he felt. If anything had gone wrong on the lunar surface, Collins would have been stranded in orbit, forever circling the moon as a living ghost of the Apollo 11 mission. His experience underscores the loneliness and psychological challenges faced by those who explore the final frontier. Space travel's darkest moments often occur not in the vastness of space but during preparation. In 1967, the crew of Apollo 1, Gus Grisham, Ed White, and Roger Chaffee, were conducting a pre-flight test when tragedy struck. A spark ignited the pure oxygen atmosphere in their capsule, turning it into an inferno within seconds. Gus Grisham's desperate cry, "Fire in the cabin," was the last message heard before the astronauts perished. The tragedy exposed critical flaws in spacecraft design and safety protocols, leading to significant changes in NASA's approach. Yet, the memory of those final words remains a haunting reminder of the risks faced by pioneers of space exploration. In 1969, the crew of Apollo 10 encountered an eerie phenomenon while orbiting the Moon. As they passed to the Moon's far side, out of contact with Earth, they heard strange, whistling sounds. Described as outer space music, the sounds baffled the astronauts and sparked debates among scientists. Was it a natural phenomenon, interference from the spacecraft's equipment, or something more mysterious? The incident remains unexplained, fueling speculation about the unknown forces at play in the cosmos. Space, the final frontier, an eternal expanse filled with mysteries, promises of discovery, and unimaginable dangers. Humanity's exploration of this infinite unknown reflects both our greatest ambitions and our deepest fears. Every mission, every launch, and every astronaut embodies our determination to transcend limits and uncover truths about the universe and ourselves. Yet, this noble quest is fraught with peril. As much as space exploration is a story of heroism and scientific triumph, it is also a tale of tragedy, unrelenting uncertainty, and eerie encounters. Astronauts, the brave pioneers of this endeavor, bear witness to moments that defy explanation, moments that test their courage and haunt them long after they return. In this expanded exploration, we delve deeper into the most terrifying words ever spoken in space. From mysterious knocking sounds to chilling last words, these stories reveal not only the physical risks but also the psychological toll of venturing beyond Earth. What drives humans to risk it all? And what do these moments tell us about the universe we are trying to understand? In 2003, Chinese astronaut Yang Liwei became the first person from his nation to orbit Earth aboard the Shenzhou 5 spacecraft. As he floated in the solitude of space, something entirely unexpected occurred. A knocking sound echoed through the spacecraft. Described as resembling someone striking a metal bucket with a hammer, the noise was intermittent and unpredictable. Liwei's attempts to locate the source were futile, and back on Earth, scientists and engineers were equally baffled. The sound wasn't caused by any known malfunction or external debris. Adding to the mystery, other Chinese astronauts later reported hearing similar noises during their missions. Some scientists suggested that the noise could result from the spacecraft's metal components expanding and contracting due to rapid temperature changes in space. However, this fails to explain why astronauts didn't hear similar sounds during earlier missions from other countries. Could it have been tiny micrometeoroids striking the craft? The randomness of the sounds casts doubt on this theory. Could the knocking have been a psychological manifestation of isolation? Space is known to amplify mental and emotional stress, leading to auditory hallucinations in some cases. The knocking noise forces us to confront unsettling possibilities. What if it wasn't a natural or mechanical phenomenon? Could it be evidence of phenomena or entities we are yet to comprehend? This story underscores how little we truly understand about the universe, and how much remains to be discovered. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, amateur radio enthusiasts Achille and Giovanni Giudica Cordiglia reportedly intercepted distress calls from doomed Soviet cosmonauts. Among the most chilling was a recording of a female voice, believed to be a cosmonaut, pleading for help. Her words, "Conditions are worsening. Why don't you respond? We are slowing down. The world will never know about us," echo a heartbreaking finality. She seemed to know that her life was slipping away, her voice tinged with despair and betrayal. The USSR never acknowledged the existence of these missions. The Soviet space program, driven by Cold War competition, often operated under strict secrecy. Failures, particularly fatal ones, were buried to preserve national pride. Skeptics argue that the brothers may have fabricated these recordings for attention or misunderstood signals from Earth-based transmissions. However, many still believe the recordings are genuine, and their authenticity remains a subject of debate. If true, these recordings reveal a dark side of human ambition. How many lives were sacrificed in the race to conquer space? And what responsibilities do we have to remember these forgotten pioneers? In April 1967, Vladimir Komarov embarked on the Soyuz 1 mission despite being acutely aware of the spacecraft's flaws. During re-entry, a catastrophic parachute failure caused the capsule to crash, killing Komarov. His final words, "The heat in my capsule is rising, you've killed me," reflect both physical agony and profound betrayal. Komarov's story embodies the human cost of pushing technological boundaries. He knew the mission was doomed but accepted it to spare his backup, a close friend, Yuri Gagarin, from certain death. The tragedy forced the Soviet space program to re-evaluate its safety protocols, but it came at an immense cost. Komarov's death is a stark reminder that progress often comes at a heavy price. Michael Collins, the command module pilot for Apollo 11, spent hours alone in lunar orbit while Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin made history on the Moon. As he orbited the far side, he lost all communication with Earth, becoming the most isolated human in existence. Collins later admitted that he feared being stranded alone if something went wrong. His simple, haunting thought, "I hope we make it back," captures the vulnerability of space travel. Collins' experience raises questions about the psychological toll of space exploration. How do astronauts cope with such profound isolation? And what can his journey teach us about resilience? The Apollo 1 test fire claimed the lives of Gus Grisham, Ed White, and Roger Chaffee in January 1967. A stray spark ignited the pure oxygen atmosphere inside the capsule, leading to a catastrophic fire. Grisham's final words, "Fire in the cabin," were a desperate warning that came too late. The tragedy forced NASA to overhaul its spacecraft design and safety procedures. While devastating, the lessons learned were instrumental in the success of later Apollo missions. The Apollo 1 astronauts are remembered as heroes whose sacrifice paved the way for humanity's greatest achievements in space. During their mission in May 1969, the Apollo 10 crew heard strange, outer spacey music while orbiting the Moon's far side. Cut off from Earth, the eerie sounds seemed to defy explanation. The most likely explanation is interference between the spacecraft's VHF radios. The isolation and stress of space might have heightened the astronauts' sensitivity to unusual stimuli. The mystery of the cosmic music persists. Does it reveal something profound about the nature of space? Or is it a reminder of how much our perceptions can deceive us? During a 2013 spacewalk, Italian astronaut Luca Parmitano faced a life-threatening situation when water began leaking into his helmet. His calm yet chilling words, "I think I've been hit," masked the true horror of nearly drowning in space. The incident led to significant improvements in spacesuit design and safety protocols. Parmitano's ordeal highlights how even routine missions can turn deadly. In 1969, cosmonaut Vladimir Mikhailovich Komarov's Soyuz 5 spacecraft failed during re-entry, leading to his fiery death. His last words, "We are burning up," encapsulate the sheer terror of the moment. The disaster prompted global efforts to improve spacecraft re-entry systems. It serves as a sobering reminder of the unforgiving nature of space. Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield described the unnerving experience of hearing tiny impacts against the International Space Station. Each ping, while minor, underscores the constant threat posed by space debris. As space exploration expands, the issue of orbital debris becomes increasingly urgent. What measures can we take to safeguard future missions? In 1994, astronaut Story Musgrave reported seeing space snakes, elongated objects that appeared to follow his spacecraft. While dismissed by some as debris or an optical illusion, Musgrave's account adds a strange chapter to the annals of space exploration. Musgrave's story sparks broader questions about the possibility of life beyond Earth. Could the